the Cattaneo report, print 33, and the current state of the investigation. Welcome back. Today, the report by Professor Cristina Cattaneo was filed, a highly anticipated document within the new investigation into the Poggi case. The report is classified, and at the moment none of the parties, not even the lawyers, have access to its contents. Interest is extremely high, as is the curiosity to understand what elements may emerge from this work, described as particularly in-depth. In this episode, however, we examine another piece of the investigation, the technical report on print 33, authored by Oscar Ghizzoni, Pasquale Linarello, and Professor Ugo Ricci, consultants for Alberto Stasi's defense. The context, print 33 and its role in the investigation. Print 33 is a trace found on the wall of the staircase leading to the basement of the Poggi residence. In 2007, the Carabinieri's RAIS, then led by General Luciano Garofano, identified it as the killer's print. The current Pavia prosecutor's office believes it may be attributable to Andrea Sempio. The report by Ghizzoni and Linarello focuses precisely on this trace, analyzing it both from a fingerprinting perspective and a biological one. The fingerprinting component. The Nini-Drain reaction. Dr. Oscar Ghizzoni handled the chemical aspect of revealing the print. The trace was treated with ninihydrin, a reagent that reacts with amino acids found in biological materials such as sweat, sebum, blood, or mixtures of these. Ghizzoni explains that ninihydrin does not react with inorganic materials such as dust, soot, soil, or synthetic grease. It reacts differently depending on the biological material present. It therefore allows a differentiation between sweat, sebum, and blood. Experiments conducted by the team confirmed that ninihydrin produces specific colorations depending on the biological matrix. However, definitive conclusions cannot yet be disclosed. The prosecutor's office is verifying and replicating the tests. The biological component, laboratory tests. Dr. Pasquale Linarello examined the biological component of the trace. In 2007, the RIAS had already classified print 33 as a suspected presence of blood to the point of scraping the plaster to collect it. Linarello and Ugo Ricci replicated the same 2007 tests by applying blood to a similar wall, scraping the plaster, and performing the same human blood-specific tests. The result was negative, despite the blood being applied in abundant quantity. According to Linarello, this shows that plaster inhibits the test, making the 2007 negative result unreliable. The conclusion is that print 33 may be a mixture of materials, including blood, and that the original sampling method may have compromised subsequent analysis. The issue of minutia and the attribution of the print. A key point concerns the minutia, the characteristic points of fingerprints or palm prints. The prosecutor's consultants report 15 minutia compatible with Andrea Sempio's palm. The defense's report instead claims there are 6-8 minutia and that some were mistaken for plaster ridges. Ghizzoni reiterates that ninhydrin does not react with the plaster, so it cannot highlight ridges or wall defects. According to him, such an error is not possible. The difficulties caused by photographic documentation. Another issue concerns the lack of a direct photograph of print 33 before the ninhydrin treatment. Only one photo taken from the bottom of the stair exists, along with another showing a visible halo but not taken perpendicularly. This limits the ability to fully evaluate the trace. The consultants emphasized that lacking better images, one must rely on the original inspection. Is print 33 the killer's print? When asked directly, the consultants respond cautiously. The trace is highly significant due to its position and composition. It had already been considered potentially left by the killer in 2007. Its biological nature could be a relevant element. However, there are not enough residues for new analysis, and absolute certainty is impossible. Attribution remains complex, especially after 18 years. The Cattaneo report. What to expect? Regarding Professor Cattaneo's report, the experts urge caution. There will be no smoking gun. The report will be one piece of a broader evidentiary framework. The prosecutor's office is assembling a set of elements: print 33, shoe prints, technical analysis, testimonies, electronic devices. Cattaneo may confirm or refute the assessments of the Cagliari RIS. Anthropometric measurements on Andrea Sempio may be useful. The supposed uselessness of such measurements after 20 years is unfounded. Anthropometric measurements and DNA. No one had ever measured Andrea Sempio's foot in 2007. No one had ever collected his DNA in 2017. The prosecutor's office is now filling these gaps. Anthropometric measurements remain valid over time, especially for elements such as foot length. The prints on the pyjamas and the grainy photograph, the issue of the alleged 4 fingerprints on Chiara Poggi's pyjamas is also addressed. The photo is grainy and taken from a distance. Fingerprint analysis is not possible. The print was erased during the movement of the body. Any Y chromosome analysis is no longer possible. The bare footprint. There's also discussion of a possible bare footprint identified by an external group of scientists. The consultants have not yet analyzed it. They request a high-definition photo. They will later assess whether it is a relevant element. The role of the prosecutor's office and the secrecy of the files. The consultants remind us that the prosecutor's office is the only entity authorized to conduct investigation. Reports from private consultants do not carry the same weight. The current acts are repeatable, therefore not notified to the parties. Secrecy serves to avoid premature procedural advantages. The Cattaneo report will likely remain classified until the investigation is closed. Conclusion. The meeting ends with thanks to the consultants and the audience. The picture that emerges is that of a complex, layered, and still evolving investigation, based on technical elements that must be pieced together with caution. The Cattaneo report is only one piece of a broader mosaic, a mosaic that may lead, depending on the findings, to an indictment or a dismissal. The community following the case remains awaiting further developments.